Hey guys, this is Terry with Futures IO. It is my honor to welcome back Connor Meekin from TopstepTrader for today's webinar, How to Profit in the Markets Without Opening a Brokerage Account. The bullet points for today's webinar are TopstepTrader's unique program and process, how to earn a funded account, which trading strategies or trading styles and strategies work best with TopstepTrader, learn about funded traders and how they perform, and a Q&A from the members. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions box during the webinar, and we'll do our best to answer them during the event, at the end of the event. Please note that if you're watching this on YouTube, please do us a favor and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the webinar. And always, please feel free to share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps. You can now follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Futures.io. And without further delay, I'll hand it over to Connor. Okay, you should get a pop-up to share your screen.
Just waiting on the pop-up to share the screen.
All right, let me try it one more time. You should get the pop-up any second.
All right, got it.
Okay, I see your screen.
Awesome, perfect. So then I will get underway. So thanks a lot, Terry, for that introduction. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the Futures.io community, particularly everybody that's made it a priority to be here right now. I know it's probably been a long day in the markets or at work or whatever it is, but you know, we're glad that you're spending it here with us. So TopstepTrader is a very unique firm, and we're going to cover all of that today. And I think that what we provide to the marketplace and to traders is very valuable. And hopefully by the end of this webinar, you know, I'll commit to you that you will understand how you can become funded, earn a funded account, profit in the markets without ever having to open a brokerage account. So with that said, let's get right into it. Just, you know, as you guys, I'm sure, and ladies are used to seeing this, the CFTC risk disclaimer, you know, futures and options trading has large potential rewards, also large potential risk. You might be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them. You must be aware of the risks and willing to accept them in order to invest in futures and options. Don't trade money you can't afford to lose. This is not a solicitation to offer, buy, or sell futures, stocks, or options. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in this presentation. The past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. So, you know, we won't be getting into too much granularity around trading systems, things like that. We're really going to talk about the funding behind it, but either way, you know, always prudent to share that in the beginning. So who am I? Who am I, and why should you listen to me? Why should you care? It's a great question. So I've been in the markets for over a decade. We're based out of Chicago, Illinois. I was born and raised in Chicago on the south side of Chicago. I started my career in this crazy industry at a top futures brokerage firm. I actually interned there. I literally cold called every firm when I was in college, you know, cold emailed everybody, CEOs, brokers, whoever, you know, hey, will you hire me? Will you give me a job? Will you teach me about the markets? And it paid off. So I ended up getting a job at one of the more prominent brokers here in the city, and that's really what my orientation was to the futures markets and trading in general. So I gained a wealth of knowledge there. Once I graduated, you know, I worked there as well, but then afterwards parlayed that into a job as an analyst at a leading hedge fund technology company. Now, I say hedge fund technology company We were a hedge fund. We did manage some assets, but generally speaking, what we did was really, really interesting. We matched qualified persons. So according to the SEC, anyone that had $1 million liquid and at least the $3 million net worth was able to invest in certain assets, right, such as hedge funds, CTAs. Now there's some legislation that's gone through that has actually opened that up further, but at this time you needed to be qualified as that type of investor. And what we did is we went through and we independently vetted all of the hedge funds and CTAs that wanted to be on our platform. So if you were long short equity, relative arbitrage, global macro, whatever your strategy was, we would vet it, make sure you were trading that way. We hooked into your prime broker, the prime brokers, the FCMs, really provided a layer of transparency, and we matched investors to the funds of their choice. Based on their performance, we provided the due diligence as well as that transparency, and then we took basis points up of the assets under management that was invested through the platform. Really unique model. I have sat in rooms with fund managers who manage billions of dollars and multi-billion-dollar hedge funds. So incredible experience. Definitely something that I really enjoyed, and was a whole new way to look at the industry from an institutional perspective. From there, I went to work on the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade. Worked for in there. I was trading outside of the pits, along the booths. Giving in calls, different things like that to the traders in the pits. It was a great experience. Again, a whole new facet of the industry than I was used to. So I kind of hit 3 different pegs here, and that's where I met Michael Patak, our CEO and founder. And TopstepTrader was in its infancy, and the model was actually very similar to what I had done at the hedge fund tech company. And from there, I came on as one of the first employees, and that was nearly 5 years ago, I believe. So it's been a wild ride, but it's certainly been awesome. And hopefully this demonstrates that I know what I'm talking about. I've been around the block a time or two, and I'm not just some guy, off the street here. So what I want to talk to you about today, and what the title of our webinar is how to profit in the markets without ever opening a brokerage account. So there's really 2 crucial aspects if you think about how you can make money trading, right? There's certainly the trading part of it. You need to know how to trade. You need to know how to execute positions. You need to know, how to buy, how to sell. Of course, there's the very mechanical approach of that, knowing that, but more importantly, you need to have a strategy, right? You need to have a system, an algorithm, a methodology. You need to have some substance and some sustenance behind why you're making trading decisions. That comes with experience, that comes with education, that comes with screen time, a myriad of variables, correct? Now, that's awesome. That is great. If you know how to trade, great, good for you, incredible. It's a very, very difficult thing to do, I think, as we all know. That being said, if you know how to trade, it doesn't mean anything in this world unless, what's the other component? You have money to trade with, right? It's the old adage, it takes money to make money. That probably isn't more true in any other industry than it is trading, right? You need capital in order to leverage, your knowledge, your system, your strategy, your methodology, your talent, your expertise in the markets. And that's where TopstepTrader comes in. When we were on the floor of the exchange, we'd done pretty well. And at that point, it was, okay, how can we find traders that are better than us, that are smarter than us? How can we find them, back them, and fund them? And TopstepTrader was born with that premise and that model and concept in mind. And we've grown it to be, a great success. And in our opinion, last year we funded nearly 600 traders. So, we're super excited. It continues to evolve. And our process for doing that and gaining that type of success and funding that many traders is based on this process that I'm going to cover with you today, which is a very simple 2-step process. Step 1, the trading combine. The trading combine is a real-time simulated account where your performance is evaluated. Step 2, funded trader preparation. Funded trader preparation is, again, a real-time simulated account where your performance is evaluated. If you can pass the trading combine, you advance to step 2, which is funded trader preparation. If you can pass funded trader preparation, you advance to and have earned a funded account. So let's dive into these two evaluation criteria. So the trading combine. Excuse me while this loads. Some of you may be speaking about our netter. They were doing some work on it. Okay, not a problem. We will go through here then. So the trading combine, we offer 4 different account sizes: $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, and $150,000 account size. Each of these starting balances are going to vary. Each of these starting balances, the criteria or the account parameters are going to vary based upon which starting balance you choose. So for example, the max position size. In a 50K account, your max position size is 5 lots or 5 contracts. So what does that mean? That means that that is the most you can have on at any given time. So for example, if I am long 2 contracts of oil and short 3 contracts of S&Ps, I cannot place any more orders. I will not get filled. You'll actually get rejected by the software. So that's pretty easy. But again, that's going to vary. You know, at the 50K level, that max is 5K or 5 contracts. At the 150K level, that max is 15 contracts. So you know, really gonna vary and something to take into consideration. Next is the daily loss limit. Now the daily loss limit is the most you can lose intra-day. Now I'm going to say that again. The daily loss limit is the most you can lose intra-day. So basically what that means is that at any time throughout the trading day, if your net P&L hits or exceeds negative $1,000, you'll be liquidated, locked out of the account for the day, and you've hit your daily loss limit. Now, something really important is that to keep in mind is that this is calculated according to your unrealized net P&L. So if you're in a position, you know, say you're long crude and crude is just dropping through the floor and your net P&L is at minus 920, minus 940, minus 950. If it gets to minus 1,000, you'll be clipped, liquidated, locked out of that position, or I'm sorry, locked out of the account for the rest of the day. So even if it's not realized, so if you haven't realized that loss yet, but you're in a trade and it hits that, you're going to get locked out. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're placing your stops, your loss limits, etc. Next is your max drawdown. So your max drawdown is really an overall loss limit. So in layman's terms, it's the most you can lose over the life of the account. Now, one thing that to keep in mind with the max drawdown is that it's a trailing max drawdown. So what does that mean? That means that it's going to trail your high water mark. So your high water mark is the highest your account balance has ever been in your account. So on day 1, you make $1,000, your account balance is $51,000. Your trailing max drawdown is still two grand. So the lowest your account balance can possibly go is $49,000, right? Because it trailed up a grand because you profited a grand. Now, if you ever make more money in profits than your max drawdown, so the max drawdown in this instance is $2,000. If you make $3,000 on a 50K account, so your balance is at $53,000. Your trailing max drawdown is actually $3,000 there because your high water mark is 3 grand. So your trailing max drawdown will never exceed your initial starting balance. So once you've profited more than your max drawdown in profit, the lowest your account balance can ever go is 50 grand. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. I know it can be a little bit complicated, but just keep in mind it trails your high water mark until you've made more money in profits than what your trailing max drawdown is. So in this instance, you know, $2,001. Next is your profit target. So the profit target, of course, you know, this isn't an altruistic business. None of us got into trading to lose money, you know, let alone not make any or break even. We're capitalists, right? We want to make money. We want to do well. We want to be able to take money out of the markets and be consistent. So we want to see you make a 6% return. That's the same on every account size. We think it's reasonable. We give you as much time as you need to meet that objective, as I'll go over here. So I think I'm loaded up, which is great. So in our 50K example, we need to make $3,000. 100K, you need to make 6,000. 150K, 9,000. But again, it's 6% across the board. And then last is the price per month. So this is the cost to be evaluated for funding. This is certainly very minimal, but this really goes into the data feed cost, the staff to evaluate you, our technology, rent, just normal overhead of a business to be able to offer this opportunity. But you'll notice $150, hell of a lot cheaper than $5, $10, $15, $20,000 that you're risking in a brokerage account to be able to trade. And then there's the rules. So these are the account parameters, and they're going to vary depending upon which account size you choose. So that's why those are important to understand and keep in mind. So choose what's comfortable with you, because this is what you'll be evaluated on throughout. This is the parameters that you'll be funded with. So certainly, be conscious when choosing, which trading combine you'd like to complete. So in terms of the rules, I said you have as much time as you need to complete the objective. We just need to see a minimum of 10 trading days. So what does that mean? That means that, for example, in our $50,000 account, we need to make $3,000 in profit. If I make $3,000 in profit and I haven't broken any rules by the end of my 10th trading day, awesome, great. I'm going to advance to funded trader preparation. If I don't meet that profit target until day 12, awesome, great. I'm going to advance to funded trader preparation. If I don't meet that profit target until day 73, cool, awesome, great job. You're going to advance to funded trader preparation. So it doesn't matter how long it takes you. We just need to see at least 10 trading days. And a trading day counts any day an order is filled. So that's 5 p.m. Central Time when the Globex opens until the electronic close of your product the next day. If at any point in there you fill an order gets filled in the market, it counts as a trading day. And one thing too, this question comes up all the time. So what happens if you meet your profit target before 10 trading days? You still have to trade 10 days. So if you meet your profit target on day 3, you still have to trade another 7 days. Anybody can get lucky. We're trying to separate the traders from the gamblers here. So need to at least trade those 10. Next is only trade during permitted times. This is really simple. Again, we trade all CME Group products, all futures contracts, outright futures contracts. That's all we currently trade. But permitted times is very simple. It's what I just said. It's going to be from 5 p.m. Central Time when the Globex opens until the electronic close of your product the next day. So just be conscientious. Grains close a little bit earlier. Of course, the S&Ps, close 3:15 Central. Oil's a little bit different. Of course, it's going to vary depending upon the product. Just be flat by the electronic close. And then last are the 2 cardinal rules that we spoke of. Don't hit or exceed your daily loss limit. Don't allow your account balance to hit or exceed your trailing max drawdown. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you can do these 4 things and meet the profit target, you will advance to funded trader preparation. So again, the way I like to think about the trading combine is very much that here's your 2 lines, right? Stay inside the lines. Don't hit your loss limit. Don't hit your drawdown. Meet the profit target. If you can do those things, you're going to advance to funded trader preparation. So here it is. This is your objective. If you do this, you're going to advance. So what is funded trader preparation? And before I go on to that, you may be asking yourself, well, what exactly am I using to execute all of these trades? So we have a great partnership with NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is one of our most popular platforms, they offer a free license key for anyone who's being evaluated in our trading combine or funded trader preparation. So of course NinjaTrader, but we offer the most popular trading platforms: Sierra Chart, eSignal, Multi-Charts, Trade Navigator, RTrader, CTS. If you don't see anything here in terms of a front-end platform solution, by all means shoot us an email and we'll look into it and see if we can connect to it. But for our intents and purposes, we're going to say that we successfully completed a 50K trading combine, so we're now advancing to step 2, which is funded trader preparation. Funded trader preparation is completely free. You know, as before I mentioned, there is a monthly cost to be evaluated. FTP, as we like to call it, short for funded trader preparation, is a free simulated account. So this is, again, a real-time simulated evaluation of your performance, and there's just a couple more rules. So like I said, the trading combine, pretty straightforward. Stay within the lines, meet the profit target, great. So that's more about showing us, you know, initially, hey, I can trade, I can stay within reasonable loss limits, and I can still make money. Awesome, perfect, great. You're going to advance funded trader preparation. Funded trader preparation, this is the last stage. This is where you're showing us we're about to hand you our money. So we want to see that you're going to take care of it. You're going to be a good steward of that money, of that capital. And the way we do that is by really, you know, tightening your risk a little bit and making sure that you're not going to go too crazy, too out of bounds, like we've seen traders do in the past. So funded trader preparation is more about risk. The trading combine, more about, hey, just proving that you can trade. So again, with funded trader preparation, trade a minimum of 10 trading days. We understand that. You have as much time as you need to meet the objective. So go to town. We just need to see 10 trading days. Next is only trade during permitted times. Again, same thing as in the trading combine. You did that already. We did that already in our 50K combine. Great, shouldn't be a problem. Don't hit or exceed the daily loss limit. Again, did that before. Awesome. Now here's where the risk comes in a little bit. Now there's a weekly loss limit. So I told you, I said funded trader preparation, a little bit more about risk management. You're getting close to really managing our money. We want to make sure that you can do that. So here you do have a weekly loss limit in some of the larger account sizes that you're going to need to adhere to. And that's going to be calculated from 5 p.m. Central Time on Sunday when the Globex opens until Friday at the electronic close of your product. So that entire time is how we calculate your weekly loss limit. Next, do not allow the account balance to hit or exceed the trailing max drawdown. Again, that's the exact same thing we did in the trading combine. Should be no problem. And then lastly, a couple new rules. Do not hold positions in major economic releases. So this is, your FOMC announcements, if you're trading oil or nat gas, inventory reports, things like that. But we require that you're flat a minute prior to the announcement, and then you can begin trading a minute after the announcement. Those are market moving events. Everyone is just speculating. Nobody knows what those numbers are going to be. It's just not worth the risk. And then lastly is follow the scaling plan. So the scaling plan is going to vary depending upon the account size you're in, but basically the larger the account size, the faster you can scale up. And what this does is this allows you to stay within your loss limits. So we don't want you coming out on a 150K account with 15 contracts screaming, because you're going to hit your loss limits. So we want you to be able to follow a very good risk reward ratio. And that's entirely what the scaling plan is about. Again, the larger the account size, the quicker you can scale up. It's going to depend on your equity balance, and that's really what the goal of the scaling plan is. So if you can do those things and meet the profit target, which you have as much time as you need to do that, you will advance to a funded account. You've earned a funded account. So you've successfully completed step 1, the trading combine. You've completed step 2, funded trader preparation. You earned it. You have earned a funded account with the same account parameters as whichever combine you successfully completed in FTP. So that's awesome. Congratulations. This is the goal. This is why we exist. Now, what are some of the benefits of the funded account? You might be saying, well, I can go open a brokerage account. awesome. If you can afford to open a brokerage account, that's great. In my opinion, I wouldn't risk my money if I didn't have to. And really that's why TopstepTrader exists as well. We want to allow you an opportunity to safely engage in the markets while still empowering you financially to accomplish your dreams or to pursue your dreams. And we think we can do both of those things simultaneously. You're engaging in the markets in a risk-free way, and if you're successful, we'll give you capital to trade for real and make real money and do the things that you want. So first, we have an industry best profit split in a funded account. Without a doubt, the funded account is an 80-20 profit split, but what is really cool, and this is something that no one else does that I know of, is that we do what I like to call a little signing bonus. So signing bonus being the fact that we give you your first $5,000 in profits. So if you're on the funded account, your first month, you kill it, you make 10 grand, let's say, and you want to do take the family on vacation. You say, hey, you know what, can I withdraw 5 grand? We give you $5,000, no questions asked, and we do not take a penny of that. Any withdrawal after that, it's an 80-20 split, 80 to you, 20 to the house. But that first 5,000, 100% yours. So that's something awesome, really cool. Next is we give you the ability to trade additional products. So, I understand if you trade TF or you trade, the DAX or the Boone or something else, I apologize, you cannot be evaluated with that in the trading combine or funded trader preparation. We've been in talks with different exchanges to open that up. Currently, we're only CME group products, but if you get funded, say trading the S&P throughout the combine and the funded trader preparation, right away you can start trading TF or start trading, DAX. So we do open it up at the funded level. So that's something that's really cool. We're still trying to appease everyone that is used to trading those products. And actually what's really cool though is that ICE in particular, if you're a Russell trader, the Russell's coming back to CME July 1st, so not too long. Next is receiving your products, and I think that this one is really underappreciated as a benefit. But we don't institute any profit minimum, you need to make 5 grand before you can even take a withdrawal or anything like that. We don't have any duration minimum, you need to trade X number of days before you can take a withdrawal, and we don't even have like a payroll minimum where it's like, hey, you only get paid the 30th of every month or the 1st and the 15th or anything like that. Anytime you want your money, you can have it. You can take it. We view this as a partnership. Shoot us an email, give us a call. Hey, I got a bill due, or hey, I want to take my spouse out for a nice dinner and night at a hotel downtown, whatever it is. I want to finish the basement. Okay, great. Let us know. We'll get a check cut and turned around to you, sometimes as early as same day. And what's really cool, particularly for our international traders, is that we will wire your profits to you as long as you're profiting, or I'm sorry, as long as you're withdrawing at least $250. That's a $0 wire fee, free of charge. We'll wire you the money, which again, like I said, for our foreign traders is actually really important because I had no idea, but it's really expensive to wire money overseas. So that's a pretty cool benefit as well. And then lastly, industry low commissions. We've negotiated with our brokerage partners to really get good rates. The lower the transaction fees, the more profits for you and for us. So we're really excited about that too, and happy with where we are there. So that is the benefits of the funded account. The funded account is a great opportunity for any trader, and I think it's something that really most traders, if not all traders, should take advantage of. So with that being said, now I would like to transition to, okay, great. How can I pass this? How can I do this? And my advice is going to be possibly simple, but very, very important, integral, necessary for you to pass. And I promise you, if you can do these 4 things that I'm about to elaborate on, you will pass. You will pass the trading combine, you will pass funded trader preparation, and you will earn a funded account. First is discipline. I'm pulling back the curtains here, all right? Everybody, you're reading it right here. The daily loss limit is the most broken rule. All right, I'll say it again. The daily loss limit is the most broken rule, right? There's no reason for us to hide that. We're not hiding anything. I'm telling you right here. I'm screaming it from the rooftops to you. Don't break your daily loss limit. Be disciplined. That is what gets everyone out. That is I don't know why or what it is. You know, traders just have trouble with discipline, or they really hold on to trades when they're going against them. They have too much conviction in it that it's going to turn around. Please, 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 if you're flirting with your limit, close the trade. Place your stop loss before 5 ticks, 10 ticks, whatever it is you need to do before your loss limit, so you do not hit it. Live to trade another day. I'm literally looking at a sign right now in our office here in Chicago in the West Loop on the wall, and it says always trade for tomorrow. You can't trade for tomorrow if you're hitting your loss limit every day. So please be conscientious of that. And another piece of advice, tidbit, slippage happens, right? You know, particularly we've got a lot of oil traders. Oil's a very slippery market. It's going to happen. So keep that in mind when you're placing your stops. Give yourself some tick breathing room on your stops. If the market gets thin, something happens, you know, it could blow through your stops. So please be conscientious of that. But again, if you're disciplined, if you can properly use your stop losses, you will live to trade another day, and you will continue to trade well, trade better, and advance. Next is location, 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 right? The old real estate adage. Well, it applies to trading too. Trade location is everything. Most of our successful traders, not all of them, so don't get me wrong, I'm not saying exclusively everyone, but we see them taking 1 to 4 trades a day. You know, 10 trades or less is probably would cover almost all of it. But the reason for this is that it's not that they don't have many trading opportunities or that they can't take any other trades, because they can. Everybody can, right? It's that they're taking high probability trades. And that's a term we speak about a lot here at TopStep, is high probability trades. If you're given, in any trading day, and you should do this, you should journal this, you should certainly be self-aware in this regard. If you think, okay, throughout that trading day, there was about 10 times I thought about taking a trade, or maybe there was about 20 times I thought about taking a trade, and maybe you did take 20 trades. You know, I don't know what your strategy is or your system, but if you think about that, and then you really get to know and become aware of what trades are the most successful for me, which ones generally work out. I guarantee you, out of those 10 trades, out of those 20 trades, you can really refine down and say, you know, when I get this set up, there's usually about a 70–80% likelihood that I take money, that I'm profitable. Versus, I'm sure there's other setups where you're on the line, 50% chance, you know, 55% chance. Cut out the weak ones, focus on the strong ones, and I promise you, you will find success. So that's a huge thing. The other thing is we see over trading as a very, very big problem, and it's easy to kind of give in to the simplicity of the mouse and you know, you're one click away and everything else. But our most successful traders, you know, probably put in 2–3 hours tops. And generally the morning session, we have traders, of course, that trade the afternoon session. But if you're having a good day or you're having a bad day, you're going to know it pretty quick. And the quicker you take your profits off the table, or you take your losses off the table and turn it off and walk away, the better off you're going to be, because pretty soon you're going to be revenge trading, you're over trading, things like that. So definitely, you know, get to know yourself, and that'll do wonders for you. Position sizing matters. So this is really important as well. So just because you have it, it doesn't mean that you should use it. You know, I like to use this example of a mortgage approval, right? So I could afford to buy, if I could afford to buy a $1 million house, right, or whatever it is. Just because the bank tells me that that they'll give me a loan for $1 million, doesn't mean that I should do it, right? Yeah, maybe they give me a loan for $1 million. Maybe I can afford those mortgage payments, fine. but maybe I'll be a little stressed out. Maybe something will happen. Maybe, I'll have a bad week or a down year or whatever it is. I don't want to be stressed out of that, because then that's going to cause me to make bad choices. It's going to cause me to anxiety, and I'm not going to be in the right mindset. So why not get a nice $700,000, $800,000 house and sleep a little bit better at night, be a little calmer, feel a little bit better about situations, not have so much anxiety or sense that, I need to do this, I need to win this trade, or I need to, get this money coming in. It's the same thing in trading. If you can trade 15 contracts, it doesn't mean you should. There's no reason to over leverage ourselves, and I see it time and time again, and I know that everybody wants to make money fast and make it a lot quick, and I get that, but I promise you, if you watch your sizing, you will get paid, and it's more about consistency than it is about hitting big home runs. Size properly, and you're going to meet your target without testing your limits. I can promise you that. If you size properly, you'll meet your target without testing your limits. Obviously, all of this is predicated on the fact that you have a strategy and a methodology, and you're not just going out buying and selling. But if you can adhere to these cardinal rules, you're going to be all right. Lastly is that patience is a virtue. You have as much time as you need to meet the profit target. And I apologize, the second bullet should have been in the last slide about position size matters. And I do like this analogy. A single and a home run are the same to your batting average, right? So it does work here too, though. So a single and a home run are the same to your batting average. What does that mean? Why are you trying to knock it out of the park? Why are you trying to, throw a bunch of contracts on and meet your profit target right away in 10 trading days by just hitting bombs? It's not going to work. You're going to strike out more times than you hit a homer. And singles, slow and steady wins the race. Build up your equity balance, focus on consistency, and you will get there. Have some patience, and I promise good things will come. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people swinging for the fences, and they're just not patient enough to take consistent winners, $100, $200, $300 winners or days, and do that on a consistent basis. Those people actually end up becoming successful much faster than the people that are hitting home runs, resetting their accounts, redoing combines. It's more about consistency in this game than anything else. And there you have it. Again, base hits, building your equity balance over time. It's going to not only reduce your risk, but it will increase your profitability. I've evaluated thousands and thousands of accounts and traders. I know what works. I know what doesn't. These are the 4 cardinal rules that I know if you can follow them, you will find success. And I don't care if you're not in a trading combine or if you never do one, that's fine. That's totally up to you. You can use these in anything. If you have a personal trading account, in life, these are all great lessons. But hopefully they spoke to you. And with that, my last little piece of advice, as long as I'm on my pulpit here, if you will, this is a personal mantra that I've had, throughout my career, and it's still on my desk to this day, is preservation of capital is paramount to profits. Preservation of capital is paramount to profits. If you approach every trade, if you approach risk on, risk off with that in mind, you will be prudent, you will be successful, and you will often check yourself and think, okay, is this worth risking my money? Is this trade worth risking my money? And a lot of times it's going to get you to look in the mirror. So it's always proved well for me. Of course, you have to put risk on, but definitely have a be calculated risk. With that, just get into a few of our success stories that we've had of people that have gone through the trading combine, have gone through funded trader preparation, and I'll try and speed through these. I know we want to get to some questions, it looks like, but this is great. This is Melissa. She's a stay-at-home mom from Oklahoma. That's her newborn baby. Probably not newborn anymore, probably about 6 months now, because I think this picture was from August, but she's taken multiple $1,000 checks, which she's used to take care of her newborn. daughter. She treated herself to a mani-pedi, a new iWatch. I mean, that's awesome, right? She's going to pay for diapers for her kid, formula. For those of us that have children, you know how expensive that can get. This is one of my favorites. This is Jacob. Jacob is a Ugandan construction worker. So this is him literally on a construction site in Uganda, in Africa, and he earned more money in one trade than his entire monthly income. That's actually a TopstepTrader shirt. You can't see the front has the logo, but those are pretty cool shirts that we give out. On the back it says I'm backed. Little pun there. Lastly, this is a great story as well. This man is a limo driver. He took a check for and it's things like that that really make this real. Is when we can see faces, put faces to names, see what they're doing with their money and how they're capitalizing, how they're using TopstepTrader to find success. It makes it all worth it for us. So that's something I really wanted to share. Here's some things that our traders are saying. Without the training and system TopstepTrader has, it's too easy for an amateur trader to lose substantial amounts of money. Again, comparing a brokerage account to TopstepTrader, I think that's a pretty big no-brainer in terms of where the risk lies. Could never have got to this point without TopstepTrader. Only wish they would have learned about this opportunity sooner. Only good place to be held accountable. We do that every day. That's one of our big things is, anybody can trade on a demo account. Nobody can trade on it. Not everybody can trade on a demo account that has got defined risk parameters. You're being watched. You're being held accountable. You have something on the line. You have an opportunity associated with it. It really makes it feel as if you're in the live markets. And so with that, I'll have Terry probably jump on, and I'm sure he's going to curate some questions. But if anyone's interested in more and really getting a gift via TopstepTrader, feel free to shoot over to this URL, info.topsteptrader.com/begin, and go ahead and throw in your email address, and we'll be happy to email that over to you.
Okay, sounds great. Let's see what questions we have.
Probably none of them. I did such a good job right there.
Oh, I'm trying to go through. I know some of them you specifically said, so I'm trying to, not rehash the same stuff. I know this one is asked a lot, so I'll just go ahead and ask it. Do the limits for your chosen level in the combine follow you as a funded trader, or is the limits in the FTP govern you as a funded trader?
I'm a little bit, so I don't know, maybe some more clarity on that. So as a funded trader, you're trading with the same account parameters as whichever combine you successfully completed. I'm sorry. No, I take that back. As the funded trader, funded trader preparation, you successfully completed. So if that's the question, you're under the same parameters as the funded trader preparation. So that's the same as the funded account.
Okay. Can you, let's see, can you auto trade with TopstepTrader, or is it only manual trading?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can auto trade if you have a system. If you'd like to, program, we can give you access to the API. Of course, if you have any automated trading through, one of our front end platforms, Ninja ATM, anything like that, we take, all systematic, algo, and discretionary traders.
Okay. I know in the past, I believe it's changed now, but what if it takes you 20 days to hit the profit target? Will that work? And is there any time limit of how long you have to complete the combine?
Yeah, 20 days works. As I mentioned before, there's no time limit. If it takes you 20 days, great. If it takes you 120 days.
Okay. Do you support Ninja 8 now as well?
Yes, we do. Yep, absolutely. So we have some connection instructions on our website for Ninja 8, and then our license key works for that as well. And if you're having any trouble finding that or getting connected, just reach out to our support team.
Okay, perfect. Are there any rules for trading your own account after you become a funded trader?
Yeah, it's a great question. And no, there isn't. So we don't have any exclusivity clauses or anything like that. Of course, we hope that you focus on our account, and we give you greater leverage in most instances than you can get or would get in a personal account. But we have no rules or anything like that in our trading agreement.
Okay. What kind of education do y'all provide to your traders?
Yeah, great question. So right now, we've always remained pretty agnostic, if you will, in terms of the education aspect. There's plenty of great educators out there and education available on the internet, and we don't consider ourselves, an educator per se. We think that the market is the greatest teacher and screen time. But that being said, we do offer a Squawk Radio room throughout the trading day. It's 7:15 to 3:15 Central Time. We have live market commentary. There's chat rooms. There's guest educators that come in there, live trader interviews, and soon to be coming is what we're calling Top Step Training, which is going to be a piece of our content and website where we're going to provide trading education and things like that. And we did recently start doing classes. If anyone's in the Chicago area, reach out to us, live classes. So we're trying to get a little bit more into the education aspect. So more things to come, but right now Squawk Radio is certainly a great resource.
Okay. Are the profit targets net commissions? If so, how much are the commissions?
Yes, they are. So the profit targets are according to your net P&L, and the commissions and fees, so everything all in is $1.84 a side. So that includes exchange fees, regulatory fees, commission, everything.
Okay. Do the traders have to pay for the CME data feed, the data fee each month?
So not in the evaluation, so not when you're in a trading combine or funded trader preparation. You need to pay for the CME data fees once you are in the funded account. So unfortunately, CME, we have no control over it. They charge that fee, and it's $85 per month per exchange, because you are considered a professional trader at that point in the eyes of the exchange, since you are trading someone else's money.
Okay, perfect. I know you answered this before, but it's another one of those questions. What about trading the DAX and the Russell in the combine and as a funded trader?
Sure. So the Russell currently, DAX and the Russell. Yep. So neither of them are available right now in the trading combine or funded trader preparation. However, if you do successfully complete the trading combine and funded trader preparation trading a CME group product, once you're on the funded account, you can trade the DAX and the Russell right away. Now, that being said, the DAX, we've had conversations with Eurex. It's been difficult, I would say. We're still trying to develop a relationship and have the ability to offer it. And in terms of ICE, it's something that we've had conversations with ICE, but at this point, it probably makes the most sense for us to wait, because the Russell is coming back to CME as a CME group product on July 1st, at which point it will be available in the combine.
Okay. And the 80-20 split is on each withdrawal after the first $5,000?
Correct. Yep. So 80 to the trader, 20 to the house, or to us, our trading firm.
Okay. Does TopstepTrader provide any other kind of trading products outside of futures, or are there plans to add, say, equity or Forex or things of that in the future?
Sure. So right now we're strictly, futures outright contracts, but in the future we definitely want to expand into other products. We have it on our roadmap, both stocks and Forex. So I don't have anything concrete right now, but expect hopefully hear some good news and announcements about that this year.
Okay, great. If they already have a NinjaTrader account, which license key would they use to trade TopStep?
Sure, great question. So that's really up to you. You can use our license key or you can use your own license key. So the only thing that's a little bit cumbersome is that if you have a brokerage account and you want to use your own license key, at that point, unless you have a multi-broker license, you're not going to be able to trade simultaneously or near simultaneously. And then at the same time too, if you have a brokerage account, you can do separate devices and use one device for your combine account with our license key, one device for your brokerage account with your personal license key. So it's really up to you, but doesn't really allow for simultaneous trading if you do have another active account.
Okay. What happens if the funded account balance drops below its initial value?
Funding drops below its initial value. Nothing happens unless it drops below its initial value hitting your loss limit. So if you break the daily loss limit or the weekly loss limit or the max drawdown, then at that point, unfortunately you lose the funded account. But we eat all of the losses. You're not responsible for any of that. But yeah, I mean, until you hit a limit or break a rule, it's still you can still actively trade on the account.
Okay. Okay, so let's say you're trading and you're doing well. Is there a point to where you can renegotiate your arrangement with TopstepTrader?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't have a set point. I mean, anything where it's like, hey, if you make X amount, there's a scale or anything like that. But definitely we're open to it. If you're profitable, and usually it's once you've made at least your max drawdown in profits. So if your max drawdown's $2,000 and you're up $5,000 in the account, then we're pretty flexible, since obviously most of our risk is off the table. But we of course still want you to continue profiting on the account, so we don't want to do anything too dangerous. But that's when you can really negotiate larger loss limits, or to maybe increase your contract sizes.
Okay. Why isn't TradeStation on the platform list? Is there any plans to add TradeStation?
So TradeStation is not on the list because TradeStation uses their own data feed, so it's really the platform that you can use is really dependent upon the data feed. But TradeStation actually can be connected through a sorter. So if you reach out to our support team, support@TopstepTrader.com, then that they'd be happy to help you get a connection set up.
Okay. Can a LLC complete the combine and become a funded trader?
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't need to sign up for the trading combine as an LLC, but what happens is once you have successfully complete funded trader preparation, you're going onto the funded account. At that point, we send you a trading agreement that you'll sign, and then you would just put that in the name of your corporation, and yeah, most of our traders do that. Most of our funded traders. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we're getting close to the hour, so I'm going to try to get a couple more questions in. How are taxes handled on the profits for the funded traded account?
So you're taxed as a 1099 independent contractor.
Okay, so they get a form at the end of the year and they pay their own self-employment taxes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, it's a 1099. Yep.
Okay. Uh,
Or on the, there's probably international traders in here. Otherwise, it's a W-8 BEN, W-8-B-E-N is
okay.
the tax form.
Is the commission of $1.87 aside, is that only for NinjaTrader or is it for all the platforms?
So it's $1.84 aside, so not 87, $1.84, and that is for all platforms.
Okay. Would a swing trader be able to trade one of the combines? I like to hold the same position overnight and sometimes stay in a trade for days or even weeks.
Probably not. So probably not a good fit. Days or weeks, certainly not. But, you can trade up to 22 hours in the combine. So depending on the product you're trading, you could potentially hold a trade from, 5 p.m. Central when the Globex opens until, maybe 3:10 the next day. And you only need to be flat for, an hour and 50 minutes. But, true swing trading, no, we require that everybody's flat by the close, so we're certainly more of a day trading program.
Okay. Is the monthly cost reoccurring when funded for the combine?
No, it is not. So the monthly cost is only for the trading combine, and that is not even in the funded trader preparation. So funded trader preparation is free. And then once you're in the funded account, we don't charge any fees either.
You mentioned funding 600 traders last year. What is the average life expectancy of a funded trader with TopstepTrader?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a hard one to answer. It's all over the board. So we get traders that come on and unfortunately hit their loss limits pretty soon, within maybe a week or two, and then we get traders that come on, and we have traders that have been with us for 2 years, and then there's traders too that find success and take their earnings and go open their own accounts because they don't want to do the split anymore. And then of course we have those that kind of churn and are just up and down, up and down. So it's hard to say, to give an exact number, and the reason for that is because I don't think that it's relevant. And the reason I say that is because trading is an individualized sport, right? So it really doesn't matter what the average life expectancy is or what the average profits are, because it all depends, right? There's so many variables. I mean, if 100 guys get funded and they're on the account for 2 years, that doesn't mean that you won't get funded and lose the account in 2 days. And if 100 guys go on the account and lose it in 2 days, it doesn't mean that you won't go on the account and stay there for 2 years, So, I think I'd be remiss if I was to, have some type of statistic or anything.
Okay. And then, let's see. I'll make this the last question. Is there a trading desk you can call into to have trade close if something goes wrong with your computer or platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can call us at, I don't know if you're going to write the number down, but 888-407-1611. Our support team effectively acts, our trader support team effectively acts as your trade desk. So, they will close any positions for you.
Okay. Now, is that open at all times that the market is open? So let's say somebody's trading Globex and something happens at 2 a.m.
Yeah, so it's not 24 hours, but it is Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Central Time, and then it is on Sundays from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Central Time. And then we do have, though, you have the account information, so you're welcome to call the broker yourself if it's on the funded account side. So
Okay.
The funded account side, of course, that's 24 hours.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the presentation and information today. And as always, it was a insightful webinar.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, Terry. Thanks everyone for being here. And again, don't forget, you've got a gift coming your way if you check out the URL here. And thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you have any more questions, please feel free. You can go to TopstepTrader's website and talk to them. You can also go to futures.io, and they have a thread there. You can ask questions as well. So thank you, and talk to you later.